So, my story about adoption. Um, it's kind of a complicated one. Initially, my birth mom, she was 20 years old when she had me, and she actually had a 5-year-old daughter at the time. So she had her first child when she was 15, and she had me when she was 20. And she had kept her first child, her daughter, who she named Candace. But as a 20-year-old who was married, she actually had me out of wedlock with another man who she was not married to. She couldn't take care of me. It was a complicated situation. She was too young to take care of 2 children. But she knew that putting me up for adoption was the best plan for me and for herself. She loved me very much. I know that she put me up for adoption because that's what was best for me. And so she went through the adoption agency, Bethany Christian Services. My adopted parents now, Brenda and Kirk, they had a daughter who's Emily, who they gave birth to, and then they had also adopted a boy named Garrett from Bethany Christian Services as well. He was from a different family, and they were unable to have any more children after they had Emily. My mom couldn't have any more children, and they wanted to, so they adopted Garrett. And it's actually kind of funny. They weren't sure if they wanted to adopt another child. They had all the forms filled out, and they actually eventually forgot about them. And they were cleaning off my dad's desk at home one day, and they found the papers, and they're like, should we send these in? Should we see what happens? And so they decided to send them in, and I was brought into their family because of that decision, which I'm very thankful for. So my birth mom, Lisa, actually knew my parents prior to my adoption, through the adoption agency, of course, and she understood that they were going to be good parents for me. They were a good fit for me. And fortunately for me, Bethany Christian allows open adoptions. So when I was about 8 or 9, I actually got to meet my birth mom for the first time. Me and my adopted family were living in Texas, and my birth mom was still living in California, which is where I was adopted and born. And so I was visiting some of my family, my adopted family, my grandmother actually, and it was just good timing. She was down, my birth mom was down there, and my adopted mom set it up, and so we had lunch, and it was really nice. I was really nervous, and I was really young, so I didn't quite understand. I just knew I was really excited, and it was a great experience. Honestly, it was amazing to see the woman who gave birth to me, and she looks a lot like me, and it's weird because I look a lot like my adopted family as well. So when I tell people I'm adopted, they always say, like, no, how, you look just like your family. And I show them my birth mom, and they're like, whoa, you look like her even more. And so I saw her when I was about 9, and I didn't see her for a long time after that, until probably high school, when my cousin was getting married, and he was having his wedding in California. And it was Washington actually, and my birth mom had moved to Washington. And so whenever I was up in Washington visiting my cousin for his wedding, I had another lunch with my birth mom, and it was really nice. I was much older, more mature, so I understood what was happening, understood who she was better. She was now married to a really nice guy named Clint, and he had a son who was Lisa's stepson, and Clint and Lisa actually had a daughter together named Justice, who's the most adorable little girl, and Candace was there as well. And I look just like Candace. It's really interesting. Candace and I, as we've gotten to know each other more, our personalities are like one and the same. I mean, it's like Candace is just the older female version of me. We have the same personality. But fast forward in the future, in my junior and senior year of high school, which I'm in now, I think think it was the summer before senior year, I got to visit them for a whole week in the summer just before school started. I actually got to visit them for a whole week in spring break, the junior year as well, and it was just amazing. I mean, they're an amazing family. They're so loving. It's so nice to get to know them more and more. And Clint is just an amazing guy. I mean, he and I are actually a lot alike too. We're not related, but like he's a great guy. We're a lot alike. I like him a lot, and so is his son Gage. And so the whole family is just really amazing. And now I'm on to graduating, and my birth mom and my birth sister, we have plans to get together over the summer after I graduate before I go off to college. And I'm really excited for that. It's really nice to know my birth family. And I never met my birth dad. I have always wanted to. I've always had this plan to search him up somehow after I turn 18 to find him. My birth mom has always told me she didn't want me to meet him. He apparently wasn't a good guy. He was kind of a bad guy. I don't know much about him. I don't even know his name. She won't tell me much about him, but once I turn 18, I plan to search him out. And actually, after looking through Bethany Christian Services, I found on their website a link to find biological parents, and so I'm going through that process to find contact information so I can contact him, and I'm very intrigued to see what I find with him. I mean, being adopted has changed my life a lot. It's quite incredible. I basically have two families. You know, I have a biological family that I came from, which takes credit for obviously my biology, what I'm made up of, my looks, all of that. And then I have my adoptive family, which has raised me the way I am, into the man I am, young man. And it's interesting to see the nurture over nature, nature over nurture aspect of life, where some people say like, oh, the biological mother should raise a child, it's just how it's supposed to be. But obviously I don't think that, because I mean, I believe I've been raised very well, because my adoptive parents, my adoptive family has raised me amazingly, and they know what they're doing. They've done it with 3 kids now, and we've all turned out pretty great. And I have an idea of a future for myself where I want to study international business and own several businesses of all sorts, and eventually I want to start a nonprofit adoption agency where I can help single mothers or struggling mothers, or really anyone who needs help with putting their child up for adoption, to really prevent any negative alternative. I think adoption is really the best decision to go with if the mother cannot take care of the child. I know firsthand that my biological mother could not have taken care of me at the time she had me. Now she's a stable mother. She has a stable job. She's living an amazing life. But at the time she didn't have the resources, the money she needed to take care of me. And she made the right decision in putting me up for adoption, and God brought me to my family that I'm with now, and I grew up an amazing life. I had an amazing childhood, and I couldn't have asked for more. It was honestly great.